Adrian, is it a little bit different to play Indiana in that, I guess, do you enjoy more when it's a great starting five against a great starting five, when it's as opposed to just like I'm going against Deshaun Thomas and that's a really great matchup, when it just seems like 1 through 5 is a great matchup all across the board?
Just 1 through 5. I think instead of just one great player, it makes everybody on the team play harder. So nobody's going back down, and everybody's get up for the game.
Adrian, what did you guys take away from that last Indiana game down there? I mean, it was obviously a game could have won late, but we're able to compete on the road in a tough environment. What did you guys leave from that game knowing about yourselves?
One thing we found out, that we're a good team. We're not going to back down, and we found out that Indiana is a great team too, and they wasn't giving up. So it's just going to be a good game.
Talk about how excited you and the guys are with first place at stake and maybe more.
We're playing for a Big Ten championship, and we're all excited about it, and just really can't wait to get out there and start the game. It's a big game for both of us.
Adrian, you mentioned the other day after the game in Nebraska, you were excited to get back to the Breslin and the experience the other night. Can you imagine it being possibly even louder this time around than it was last week?
Yeah, I think the Bred's gonna be crazy. Everybody know that it's gonna be a big game, and it's just that much bigger than the Michigan game. The fans are gonna be crazy, and it's just the environment gonna be off the chain.
Adrian, when you're preparing for this game versus the Michigan game, it almost looked like you guys had this inner fury against Michigan. How is the motivation or how is the feeling different for this big game versus that really big game?
They both was big games. We got Magic coming back, so it's going to be even better. This will be his first college game, and it just bring that much more intensity and just will to play harder because we got former player coming back and he's a legend.
Just wondering, how do you think they are different since you last saw them? I know Sheehy obviously has been on fire lately. Anything you see from them in the last few games that a little different than when you guys saw them a few weeks ago?
Yeah, of course. They got Cody Zeller's playing much better than he was from the first time we played him. Wofford's shooting the ball well from the three. He's shooting the ball really well from the three, and Oladipo's he's just he's Oladipo. He's playing basketball, high energy guy. We just got to come out and play.
How were you guys able to keep Zeller in check in that game down there?
We know as a team we had to he gets a lot of buckets in transition, and that's what one thing we try to do is stop their break and Cody Zeller getting easy baskets that way. So as a team I think we did a great job.
Got one last one for Adrian. I'm just curious what the environment at Breslin, when you see like it was last week and it'll be tomorrow night, a half hour before the game when fans have their bodies painted and they're chanting. Does that affect you, or are you such in a game focus then where it's just an extra?
When you got your fans painted, it makes the game that much better. It's crazy. They crazy. They're going, just yelling, and it just make the game even better. It makes the environment of the game, that much. That's why you came to college.
Gary, just talk about the first meeting. Obviously, you had a huge game that day. Is there extra motivation for you because of the fact that they recruited you and you have a lot of friends there, or just talk about that performance?
I wouldn't say it's extra motivation. I was just saying it's a big game, and we went down there, we played in a crazy environment, and we knew it was going to be a tough game going into it, so we just had to be ready to play.
Oladipo is expected to play after getting injured. What does he bring to their team, and what do you try to do to slow him down, because he kind of did it all in the last game?
He's a great player. He's a high-energy guy, like AP said. He drives on the defense end, gets a lot of stuff going on offensively in transition. it's gonna be we just gotta be smart, especially on the offense end, because he's playing the passing lanes, and we just gotta try to contain him and try to stop him from doing some of the things he does best.
Gary, how are you doing health-wise, and if you just kind of, at this point, just learned how to kind of adjust and play with some of the aches and pains you got going?
Health-wise, I feel pretty good. My back feels a lot better than it did the last few games. My shoulders, I really don't even think about them anymore. It's just something I just have to deal with. I'm used to playing with the brace, so, health-wise, I feel pretty good.
Gary, do you feel like these teams mirror each other in any way, just in terms of, having someone like Watford and Payne kind of have similar skill sets, you and Yogi a little bit, and just sort of down the line?
It's just two talented teams that are going to be competing. We're both tied for first in the Big Ten race, so this is a huge game as far as winning a Big Ten championship. So we just got to come out and be ready to play, because they're going to be ready to play as well.
Gary, in the first meeting, not having Keith for much of the game, especially down the stretch, how did that change things? What did that do to you guys?
It definitely kind of hurt us. He's our point guard, the leader of the team, and just having to play without him most of the game was just different. We hadn't experienced that yet, because he's played huge minutes in all our games so far, and just looking forward to him staying out of foul trouble this game so he can play a lot more and see how the outcome is this time.
Gary, just curious if you were in touch with Yogi at all after that first game at all, just kind of catching up and.
We talked a little bit. We didn't talk about the game, just catching up in general, because we haven't talked in a while. So, just nothing really about the game, though.
Also, what did you see from Nix that first game against Zeller, and what was he able to do that kind of neutralized him a little bit?
Nix, he was playing real physical. He came out, he was getting back in transition, stopping Zeller from getting some of his transition buckets. And Nix was being aggressive on the offense end, and he played a really good game.
Anything else? Gary, can you just talk for a second about games like this and one of the reasons that you decided to come to Michigan State to play in games like this, late in February, early in March, that have meaning for Big Ten championships?
This is a type of game I feel like anybody who's playing college basketball want to play in. Big environment, a big game. It's going to be on ESPN. It's just what we love to do. Competing in front of a lot of people, and it's just one of the many perks of playing here. We played a lot of big games this year, and this is just another one to add to the list.
This game, personally, I know you apologized after the last one when you fouled out. How much have you been looking forward to another shot at Indiana?
I've been looking forward to it a lot, The last time we played them at their place, I was unable to participate in the game, so my teammates did a good job of picking me up. So, now we get a second crack at them, and we're just going to have to see how it goes.
Keith, this is the first ever top 5 game at Breslin. Does it feel different? Is the anticipation, the energy, the emotion different?
Of course, Indiana's a pretty good team. They coming into our building. This place should be rocking, and we're going to be ready to go. Simple as that.
Keith, you talked the other day about the Indiana experience and how you didn't get to play very much. What did you learn from that? Or do you approach things a little differently now, especially if you do get a couple early fouls?
Of course. I don't even plan on getting a couple early fouls. Last time it kind of got us in trouble, and I just don't want it to ever happen again, So I took a lot from that, and, I learned from it.
Keith, how much were you able to pick up about Yogi in that first matchup and what he brings to the table?
He brings a lot of energy to their team. He pushes the ball each and every time he gets it, and he makes a lot of things happen. So I'm just gonna have to be solid, for 40 minutes and try not to pick up any cheap ones.
Not to keep harping on the foul thing, but you said you hope you don't have to get in. Are you concerned that that's going to make you a little less aggressive defensively, or are you just approach things a little differently?
No, I just gotta try not to use my hands as much. That's where he called for a lot of fouls, when I try to hand check guys. So I'm just going to be solid, try not to use my hands and stay in front of the guys.
Keith, do you try to block out or embrace the stakes? First place in the Big Ten, maybe top seeding, and then NCAA tournament next month?
No, I try to embrace them, That's what it's all about. That's why we came here, to compete for Big Ten championships and potential #1 seeds in the tournament, you know. So I'll definitely embrace it, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, help us play harder.
I guess following on that, the fact that they're #1, does that give you any extra motivation?
I mean, you can say that, but, you know, at the same time, they did beat us, and, you know, I feel like that's enough motivation. We just want to get a game back and, you know, hopefully come out and play as hard as we can for 40 minutes.
Keith, you said before you don't like focusing on one-on-one matchups with, you know, whether it's Trey Burke or Aaron Kraft. Do you get excited, though, when it's 5-on-5 matchups like this, where it just seems across the board there's a really great matchup, the entire team?
Yeah, of course, you know, because you never know what you're going to get from any given guy on the floor, you know. So it should be fun, and, you know, we all know both teams are going to play hard, and everybody's going to give it their all.
Anything else for Keith?
Does it push you more when you see guys like Magic Johnson, Mateen Cleaves in the stands?
Of course, you know, though, if it wasn't for those guys, people like me wouldn't be here, and this program wouldn't be where it's at today, you know. So, you know, seeing them in the stands or commentating the game, it makes us play even harder.
Other than obviously you staying in the game, what else do you guys need to do differently as a team this time from the first time around?
We can't have as many defensive breakdowns, you know. Last time we broke down a couple times defensively, and they got a couple wide open threes, you know. So we just can't let that happen this time around, and we should be fine.
One last question, Mike. Yeah, thank you.
Keith, I know that the Michigan game was just filled with all sorts of emotion. How is this game different in terms of being prepared or being motivated for it?
I mean, because we're competing for first place in the Big Ten. You know, that's one of our team goals this year, is to win the Big Ten championship, and now we have the opportunity to compete for it, so we're just going to do as much as we can to try to go out there and get a win.
Keith, the first time you talked to Magic, your face lit up. You were so excited about it, and now that you've been here a while, what are some things he's told you to help make you a better point guard?
You know, he's given me a lot of advice. You know, one of the things was watch film, simple as that. And that's something that I've been doing, and it's helped me a lot with my decision making.